everybody.
Hello.
I hear echo.
Uh-oh.
Did it go away? I think it went away. Went away.
I had this problem.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming to our Tuesday night Reseller Live. I'm happy to be here again. And everybody tonight has been on before, so you will have seen them previously. So I have Dominic, Primetime Treasure Hunter, below me. And then next to him is Miss Regina Michelle. And then, of course, my co-host Julian. So everybody has been on before. I'm going to go ahead, though, and make Dom and Regina big and let them introduce themselves. If you have any questions about myself or Julian, if you're coming over from one of their channels, please feel free to ask in the chat. I will tell you guys, and Duncan, it's starting with your question number 2, and somebody else put a question in earlier, and I think it only keeps them for like an hour before the show. So if you put them in too early, they disappear. So I am going to let these two introduce themselves, and then we will get to some questions. Here is Dom.
Awesome. Well, it's great to be back again. My name's Dominic. I go by the Primetime Treasure Hunter. And so I love hunting for treasures. I love especially going to estate sales, but I hit all over. I go garage sales, rummage sales, flea markets, private picks, all sorts of things. I cover those types of hunts on my channel. I just hit 1,000 videos. So, check them out. There's news coverage over there. There's all sorts of fun live shows. And, I just cover anything that's interesting that's related to reselling. So happy to be on again.
Perfect. Here's Miss Regina.
Hello, everyone. I'm Regina Michelle. I am a part-time reseller on eBay, and I do Facebook Market. I like going to thrift stores, yard sales, and I have a live that I do on Wednesdays called Hump Day Hangout. And check out my channel and see what I'm finding.
Perfect. Awesome. So thank you both for being here. I really appreciate it. We're going to start off with Duncan's question 2, because question 1 got erased and he's making people go above the fence again. So I'll read it and then I'll take it down. Duncan wants to know, how do I grow my eBay store when the items sell as fast as I list them? I have a photographer, suppliers, and someone to do the mail. If I get more stock, they just sell. Too many buyers. That's such a bad problem to have. It's such a bad problem to have. So what would you recommend?
Well, it's not necessarily a bad problem. I mean, I heard someone say recently that the number of listings that they're aiming for in their store is 1, because they want to sell everything that's in there so they don't have anything that's sitting around. So that's one way of looking at it. It just depends how much stuff you could consistently overturn in terms of your flow. But another possibility is to make sure you're including some higher priced items that might sit a little bit longer and just need to wait for the right buyer to come along to grab those. So for me, for example, with some of my higher priced single highest graded comic books, some of those are for thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, and they're not necessarily going to sell within a week or 2. They might take months to sell. They might even take a year to sell, but I don't care because they're cool and I love having them, and just having them up in the store, kind of like eye candy for people. And so, you could add items like that to, keep your inventory growing. And then in addition to that, intersperse that with some items, that will sell faster. So you have to really work in a mix.
Yeah, that's a very good problem to have, that your inventory is selling as fast as it is. I would say try some other categories of things to sell. Maybe try some liquidations, something that's are doing auctions, a high bid, finding items that way if you just can't make it to the thrift store.
Yeah, if you're selling stuff and it's selling so fast, it's awesome. Tell me what you're selling, by the way. DM me, and I want to go ahead and get involved in that. But I would go like kind of also like super high end stuff, because like Cat sells, like $2,400 statues, and it takes a long time to find like.
It only took a month.
Okay, well that's not that long. Yeah, say it took 6 months. So say it would take a little bit longer than a month, and it takes a while to find somebody that's going to spend maybe $2,400 on a statue rather than something that's a little bit less expensive. Other than that statue, that one must have been special.
2 of them sold. Some of them have sold really fast. I try and find ones that are like not plentiful, because then there's a demand for them if somebody's been waiting for one to come on the market. I think Duncan does mostly ephemera and stamps and things of that nature, I believe. So yeah, like I agree with everyone. I don't think it's a bad problem to have, especially if you have people listing. I tell people that want to grow their store number for whatever reason, list more than you're selling. So either get more listers and more stuff, so that if you sell 20 in a day, you list 30 in a day. So you grow your store by 10 a day. And definitely if you can add in like higher value stuff that aren't going to sell as fast. And if you add them in and they sell as fast, then that's not something that I would complain about. Someone's Janet. I just started sourcing on HiBid and it's opened up so much potential for me. What other websites do you use to source?
Well, I believe it or not, it's going to sound kind of funny to some people, but I actually like sometimes sourcing stuff on eBay. So one of the things that I'll do is I will just search things by when they're like, I'll look for things that are ending soonest, and I'll bump it out like about 5 minutes, and I'll just see if I could spot something visually that looks appealing, and then I'll match it up. I'll look at the price, and then I'll see the title, and I'll see if the person didn't keyword things properly. So I found a lot of stuff that way, because remember, a lot of people who list things for sale on eBay are just regular people. They're not resellers, and they don't necessarily know how to optimize their listings to sell things. And so, for example, the vintage rock and roll poster lot that I have, that I actually bought secondhand locally here at a flea market, but I got that from somebody who bought them on eBay, bought them all on eBay. Got them. The guy got them for like $25 or something. Those things, some of those have sold for several $100s. And so, the person he got it from didn't keyword it right, and just didn't bother piecing them out. I look for things that are lots. And so I'll just buy things there. I also go to various auction websites that are specific to certain topics. So for example, if you like comic books, there are auction sites that are specifically devoted to that. If you like comic book art, which is another thing I have in my store, there's sites that are specifically devoted to that. Or you could go to some of the bigger auction houses like Heritage, for example, and they'll sometimes have like specific auctions dedicated to certain topic areas. So it really depends on what you like. If you like ephemera like Duncan, you go on Facebook, for example, and find ephemera groups that'll run auctions just about ephemera. So there's so much stuff out there.
Yes, and since I do a lot of clothes, I've sourced from Macari in the past and bought a lot of clothing lots. And you can also source on Facebook Market. I had a friend just last week source some Briar horses, and they sell really good. So that's another place you may want to look at.
Yeah, around here I did some like local auction houses that are like local to me. I'm on their website a lot, and then definitely Facebook Marketplace. I have a couple keywords in there that once something's posted, it gives me an alert. I take a look at it, and usually I can be pretty on the ball with that because good stuff goes pretty quick. So, but definitely if I'm not on HiBid or local auction sites and I'm looking for stuff to pick up around here, it's going to be Facebook.
Yeah, and I do local auction sites as well. They're ones actually I found by putting my name on an email list and an estate sale. So I recommend you do that if you go to any in-person ones. I used Shop Goodwill for a while. I haven't in a long time because the lots were going really high. So I kind of got away from that. I'll still once in a blue moon look on there. And it really depends on your location. So like I have my sourcing membership, and we have a couple of people that I can't find anything for them on HiBid local. And we have to look on, like there's ProxyBid and MaxSold. I would recommend Googling your city and auctions, and you might find that like your area uses a certain auction hosting site that is not maybe used in mine or anybody else's area. So I would do that. I occasionally will find stuff on Facebook Marketplace because, the algorithm, they know what you look at and stuff will pop up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, But for me, I'm like probably 90 to 95% high bid. I'm a big high bid user. All right, Duncan's third/second question. How about a reselling? Don't make this mistake when reselling, advice from each of you.
I'd say one of the biggest mistakes to try to avoid, just because it causes so much hassle, is shipping the wrong thing to the wrong person, in which you actually, not just that, but you sent item A to person B and item B to person A. Like, you flipped it around. That is just, it's such a pain in the neck to deal with. You could deal with it and you could work it out, but it's just frustrating. And you really have to hope that you have two people who are reasonable to deal with. So it really, how you're going to deal with that really just depends on your system that you have set up. What I do, I pack everything down here, and then I have my Rolo printer upstairs. So I do all my, my packing here. And what I'll do is I'll write the weight on it and dimensions if I need to, and then I'll actually write the item on it, like, just, whatever it is, I'll just say it. And I have to be careful to make sure that there's not, because if I have a ton of packages and there's two words that sound alike, like they start with the same letter and end with the same letter, my handwriting is small, believe it or not, and they could look similar, and then I can make a mistake that way. So I have to make sure that I'm clear in terms of differentiating them. But that's how I've been able to avoid it. But I've made that mistake before, and it just stinks.
I've done that too. I made so many mistakes. I guess I would say, knowing what shipping supplies to use, because you have priority flat rate envelopes, and then you have the legal flat rate, and you can sometimes put the item in the legal flat rate thinking that that it's the flat rate envelope. So just knowing which shipping materials supplies to use.
They actually took both of my answers, but I had a backup third. Really is when I first got on here, like, looking to resell and everything, I always looked on Instagram, like, to check up on people on Facebook and, just the groups, but just know, like, your profit margin on what you sell, and not, like, don't compare to what you're seeing on any type of social media. Like, know your own numbers, know how much you need to make, know exactly how much you can buy stuff for and what your profit margin can be. I think that's super important. And not getting into, oh, this person just did $90,000, it might look a little bit different. So, because that one in the beginning, that was a big thing for me. I was like, oh, somebody just did 90 grand in 30 days. I can do that. Well, turns out I haven't hit it yet. So it all depends on what you're sourcing.
Yeah, I would say don't mix your personal and your business. And I've been watching Not Your Dad's CPA's course today, and he was saying, like, even if you have an LLC, if you're using your personal credit card for stuff, that you could still be found liable, because they'll find you're mixing the funds and that you are the LLC, and you could still be held liable. But I think having those, like, separate bank accounts and using completely separate. So if you have a card, you only use it for business, then that's fine, even though it's your personal card. But mixing them makes it so much, and it's coming up on tax season. So I think a lot of this is kind of pertinent. Like, you need to separate it. You need to know what's business, what's personal, and so you can keep track. Like Julian saying, know the profits, but if you're mixing it in with your personal stuff, that might make it very, very hard to do that. So that is what I would say. Melissa Fisher, what shipping do you use for DVD and books for international?
For books, for international, and for DVD, what shipping do I use? Both of those would go media mail. That's what I would use. You could use first class if you want to. But
is there an international media mail?
Well, no, there's not an international media mail, but since I use the global shipping program, I just media mail it over to Kentucky, and then they send it however they want to. So that's what I do.
Yeah. And I use the global shipping, so I would definitely use the media mail.
I do what they do.
Yeah.
So with the standard international, if it's under £1, it would go first class international. And Pirate Ship has a simple export rate, which is good too, up to £4. So you could also do that, but there's no, like if you're shipping it yourself internationally, there's no media mail that goes international unless you're doing what they're saying and using media mail to ship it to the global shipping station. Patty wants to know what's the new BOLO to look out for.
The new BOLO to look out for. Oh, there it is. Well, actually, hold on. Let me bring it up. I actually just posted something about this in my Facebook group, which I didn't mention this earlier, but Kat's part of it. It's the Reselling Resource Center. And I put news updates in that group. And then I also, lately, I've been compiling some of those together and putting them together into a video series that I've been doing at the end of the week. But now this I'm going to give with a caveat, because you have to be careful, because this has to do with plants. There are some plants that you're not supposed to ship. There's like certain state laws and stuff you have to be aware of. But there are these rare plants that people are searching for that could sell for like a lot of money. There's certain characteristic to these plants, like they have a certain characteristic on the leaf that you have to look for. They're called it's a fancy term, but it's called variegated monstera deliciosa.
The Swiss cheese plant. Do you know that plants was the first thing I sold on eBay, Dom? That was was my main thing for over a year.
That's right. You're exactly right, Kat. It's the Swiss cheese plant. So look up the Swiss cheese plant and look for the hole, because it has holes in the leaves, and check it out. And there's certain patterns on them. And this is because you asked for current BOLO. This is like a current trend with that plant right now. Not that it hasn't been popular in the past, but people are really looking for it. And the variegated monstera is very rare. So it's different than the regular green plant. So this one has like white markings on it on the stems and the leaves. And sometimes you'll even get a whole white leaf. A lot of people think they're trash when they see them and they throw them out, but these things could be worth a lot of money. So I'm talking like there's, hundreds of dollars for a plant, sometimes even over $1,000. So check it out for sure. Do your work on the Swiss cheese plant.
Swiss cheese plant.
I'm always searching eBay for different things to sell. I guess a BOLO for me was, I never heard of the Briar horses when someone mentioned them, but I've never found one. And I also found that a lot of people will buy vintage buttons off clothing, but still haven't found any good ones yet.
I was sweeping through some of my what's sold, just trying to find something that's not generic. The biggest one I sold out of fastest is I sold 5 in like a week, was those cool pants, the KUHL.
KUHL. Mine sold fast too, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very fast moving brand, and usually a lot of people don't know about it still, especially my thrift store still have that down as like a regular like non-name brand pants or shirts, and they sell like, I was selling them between $55 and $70.
Yeah, I only found a couple, and they were at garage sales in Kentucky. I've never seen them here in Florida. I know Becky Park mentioned those when she was on our show. She said that was one of her fastest selling brands, so they must be over on the West Coast too. For me, and I've been showing them in my videos, the Ken Edwards Tenala, I've made hundreds. I shipped out, I think, $400 or $500 worth today. They're selling on Etsy. They're selling on eBay. I got lucky finding a 12-piece place setting. I typically only find single items, but the single items sell for $20 to $40 as well. If you're lucky enough to find a serving piece, and actually I have one here. This is what it looks like. This is a saucer, but this painting, and Ken Edwards is probably the most well-known artist. So you see the KE and he drew a little bird there. That's how you know who it is. And he's very, very popular as far as that. And I've sold over $1,000, and it's all sold in under a month. It's sold really fast. And I still have some left, but it has sold fast. So, and I feel a lot of people have told me they didn't know that, and they've seen it and they've passed it up. So definitely keep your eye out for that. Miss O'Shawn Deals, How do you ship multiple boxes, like a set of dishes or books, so that one box isn't too heavy?
Multiple boxes, like a set of dishes or books.
So if you had like a big lot of comics you sold,
Yeah.
would you always ship it in one box, or would you
No,
put it into multiples?
depends. So I actually did a video on this recently called "Don't Break It: How to Ship Sets of Dinner Plates," and you could go through and I take you step by step through all the different instructions. And I'm happy to say that those plates did arrive the way I packed them in the video from New York to California with no problem whatsoever. So there's different approaches. There's more than one way to skin a cat, but I will double box, sometimes triple box. So there's a lot of technique to it, but you try to find boxes that are similar size that could overlap each other and make sure that you're not having any void space within the box and also between the boxes, and that you're taping them tightly together. That's really the key. The best way to see it is visually. It's hard to describe it without seeing it. So I would suggest checking out the video. I think I did it about a month ago on my channel. So I think the link is around somewhere. And go and check it out, and you'll see all the steps there. And I have a lot of shipping videos, by the way, about shipping breakables. So it's different techniques.
I shipped some vintage plates probably about 2 months ago, but I just used one box and I just bubble wrapped and used a lot of newspaper and just make sure that it was secure. I didn't do any multiple boxes. It was just one.
Yeah, I've actually never done that. I never sold something so heavy or so big. It would be like shipping it in multiple boxes. I've never done
that. I had someone usurp my listing for plates only and go and buy everything out of one set. And what I do is with that one, I did 3 boxes. I want to say they were almost 15 pounds each though, but for me, it's not necessarily that they're too heavy. It's that they aren't safe in that box. So like you want to make sure you've got 3 inches on each side. I shipped out 8 plates today that went in a 14 by 14 because they were 12-inch plates, like 11 and a half inch. And I wanted that space on top, bottom, and the sides. So if somebody had bought those plates plus something else, I would have ended up shipping whatever else in another box. But I had somebody buy salad plates, cups, and a creamer, and same thing, 14 by 14 by 14. And that is oversized. Anytime you get over 12 by 12 by 12, you're getting into oversized. But I would say if you're doing it because it's too heavy, like for you physically, then I would just put as much as you could into a box. And then hopefully you charged enough for the shipping. Like with that whole set that I sent, I want to say it was over $200 to ship it because it was 3 like 15 to 20 pound oversized boxes from Florida to California. So just make sure with that stuff that you're charging enough is basically what I'm saying. Kay is watching us over on Facebook. 2 questions. How do you deal with non-paying bidders, and what do you suggest to get sales up to the $20, $25 range out of the $10 range?
So my system with non-paying bidders is that I will send them an invoice on the first day. If they don't respond to that, then the next day I tell them that my account, when this is what it used to be, so I just still say this, but it's not technically true really, but it still spurs them to action. I just say my account is automatically set to report non-paying buyers to eBay after 48 hours. So to prevent that, please make payment today. And so that helps, because if you wait until the last possible moment to say that, like the 4th day, which by the way, they're supposed to pay within 48 hours, but they're on their end, when the buyer gets the message, they see a message from eBay that says you have 4 days to pay. So that's what they're seeing. So, if they ever write me back, which one person did and said, wait, I thought I had 4 days to pay. I'm like, well, yeah, you technically do. That's what they say, but here's why, and explain it. And then if I don't hear anything back, I just kind of let it ride until the last day, and I'll send them one more follow-up and say payments due today, or eBay's just going to cancel it. And so that somewhere along that line, that pretty much works. It's rare for something to not get paid. It does happen. Happened the other day on 2 ElfQuest books that I had, but generally they eventually will pay at some point. And what was the other question?
The other question was what do you suggest to do to get your sales average up? She's saying that she was in the $10 range and she wanted to try and get it up to $20, $25.
Easy. You just have to look to diversify what it is that you're selling and move beyond that, or within that same category, but to whatever the higher priced item. So you have to, it will be helpful to go and whatever you're interested in or interested in getting into, and do some comp searches so you get familiar with what's selling at the higher price ranges within that category. And also, when you're out at sales, starting to take more of a look into items you've not paid too much attention to before. Also, some things that are priced higher at the sales. So if you're used to spending $1 to $5 on items, we'll start thinking about paying $10 to $20 on some items if those things could translate into much higher sales. And that's sometimes hard for people who are just starting out to kind of get used to, because you're just so used to those, 50 cent, to $20 flips or to $10 flips. So you got to sometimes invest more to make more.
Yes. Is she talking about auctions on eBay or just best offers?
No, anything.
Yeah. I don't have a whole, I always try to contact the buyer to see if they're going to pay. Sometimes people tell me that they're waiting on their check, and usually they go ahead and pay, but you just don't want to wait too long. And just try to close it out. But with getting more high price items, I agree with Dom, is just to try to get into different categories and try to look up eBay and see what's selling in a higher category, the price range.
Yeah, with the non-paying bidders or buyers or whatever, I usually will send them a message if they haven't paid in 2 days, like, hey, would you like to pay for your item? And then after 4 days, they close it, it gets relisted, and I don't even think about it, and I'll relist that item. And then 10 to 25 is definitely, learning more stuff. And that's how I started, and I got down, and I would, I had that same problem, is that I would only sell things worth $10 because that's all I knew. I knew some high-priced fishing gear, but I didn't know a whole bunch of high-priced golf gear. So then I just learned higher-priced golf gears and what models were selling. And I would always I know Kat does this a lot, is filter from highest to lowest, and then really look at that and see exactly what's selling on eBay. And then just days after days of looking at that and going to sales and going to yard sales or thrift stores, you'll end up finding some of that stuff, and then eventually it will start to you'll get out of that $10 range.
Yeah. And I mean, a big thing for me, like Dom said, you have to start paying up. So if you're not wanting to pay up for stuff, you might only find that lower dollar stuff. Like my $2,400 Yadro that just sold, I paid $700 for that. And I mean, that took a long time for me to get to that point. That's taken 2 years of continual reinvesting to have the capital to allow me to do that. So a lot of people can't do that at first. But you can bump from, like you said, from $10 to $20 items and start leaving behind some of those $10 items if you really want to hit 20 and 25 and look for those higher dollar items. When I go thrifting, I typically will leave $10 items behind. But if I'm buying lots on high bid and it's $10 items, I'm looking at that as $400. So I don't think those lower dollar items are necessarily a bad thing if they're selling fast and you're paying $1. That's 10 times your money. You're still making a good profit. So if you're selling enough of them, but if you're wanting to step it up, like everybody else said, you have to learn. And you can search on eBay, sort by highest to lowest, see what's selling and whatever you're wanting to pick up and sell. Watching what sold videos. I think most of us here do them or have done them, watching what sold videos, seeing what we're selling that you might not even be looking at, you know. So watching different people on YouTube's what sold really helped me step up my game. What sold videos are one of my favorite. That's why I kind of built my channel on that. And I think it's a great way to kind of gain more knowledge, especially stuff that you're not used to looking at. Kimberly Carlson wants to know where we get our poly bags, like that we're shipping clothes and things like that in.
I get my poly bags through a couple places. One is through, well, are you counting the air jackets with the bubble wrap in them? Are you counting those or just regular?
I think she means regular. I think she means regular.
The regular, well, okay. I have big size ones that I like to use. They're 24 by 24. They're awesome. They're one of the best investments ever. You could save so much money with those bags because you don't have to get big boxes for things that you automatically wrap in. Like, for example, I have a big wooden sign that sold the other day. So I put bubble wrap around it. I put cardboard around it, made a cardboard sandwich, and then I took one of these poly bags, wrapped it around that so I didn't have to get a big box to put into it. And it gets there just fine. Just think of the cardboard in that situation as like an internal box instead of that being on the outside. And then there's actually someone in my Facebook group. She's one of my moderators. Her name is Patty Erno. And she has some deal where she gets poly mailers from people and she sells them for a really good price on her page. And so I buy my poly mailers from her, and so do a lot of other people I know from the group. So shout out to Patty because she's a moderator in my group and she's awesome. So she's got a lot of great stuff there.
I get mine from Amazon. They have some good prices for what I need. And also when eBay sends their coupon out, I use my coupon and I buy directly from eBay.
I get most of mine from eBay. And I too use the bigger poly bags. Dom hit a good point. The bigger poly bags is where it's at. I used to only use like little ones. You start getting into them big ones, you don't understand how much you'll actually use them. Big time saver.
Those bags will save you a fortune. I do have a link to them, and it's an affiliate link in my videos. But they're incredible. I can't speak highly enough about them. How much money they save me.
Yeah, and I have a lot of them too, and I use them a lot for the throw blankets, and like they work great for pillows. I get mine off of my big ones off of Amazon. I get most of my polys off of Amazon versus eBay, but I have gotten a couple of sets off Poshmark because there are a couple of really cute designs, like people that design their own on Poshmark. So sometimes I'll go buy, and they're small packs, but sometimes it's the little things that makes me happy, and I get cute little designs. I think I had like llamas, and I have thank you ones. And yeah, so randomly I will occasionally go buy them off of Poshmark from people who design their own. Grandma's Joy wants to know, what do you think about the new listing tool that allows video uploads? Has anyone used it yet? And do you think the videos will help sales?
I haven't used it yet. I did see that it's available, and I think with certain items it could definitely be helpful. When you give people that visual in terms of how something functions, the noises that it makes. Do I have it here? Oh yeah, hold on a second. Like, this is a good example. So this vintage barware piece, this was in my one of my my recent estate sale video I had it in. So I take his hands need to be repaired and stuff. But as you can imagine, like I could show this, but if I had a video where I showed how the roulette wheels spin, I could just go like this. And something like that could be really cool for somebody to see. So I think that can help increase sales if you could show function. So I would suggest using it if you have an appropriate item for it.
Yeah, and I know Tim over the years has the cool, and my friend Erica that's making my mugs, like those cool little displays that you sit the item on and it rotates it around. I think that is I need one of those things. All right. Sorry, Regina.
I haven't used the video yet, but I agree. I would, if I was buying something, I would definitely want to see how it works and how it sounds. So
I haven't used it yet either, but I probably will. Like that little thing he just showed, that would be awesome to use that. Even as a little VCR, just plug in the thing, pop it up on the screen. Hey, it works. It's better than a picture just staying it's been tested. So the video is pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, and I haven't used it either, but definitely maybe some of the higher dollar stuff. I would like to get one of those rotating things so I could like rotate, you know, and have my like expensive Yadros turning around so they could see all sides of them. And that would be awesome. That is my newest one-on-one coaching member, Sailing with Miss Stylish. I am super, super happy, Cece, that you are here. And thank you so much for the super sticker. I will give you a dolphin. Super chat. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. And now we have a question for Julian from Miss Lois. When you're buying electronics and need to sell them for parts, how would I research that online to see what I can actually get for just the parts?
How I do is I filter it on condition on eBay. There's a little spot usually where it's like if you're selling electronics, it just says 4 parts. You hit that little thing and then it'll show you exactly which ones have sold for 4 parts. That's non-working.
Yeah, and I think that's a good tip with anything. Like if you're looking at comps and yours is used and you don't want to look at, you know, new prices, if there's a bunch, I will use the filter to select only used, or if you find it new, I'll filter so I only see new comps as well. Jan wants to know, have we ever blocked other resellers for any reason?
I'm not sure if she means block them on eBay or block them on.
I'm thinking eBay is the first thing that comes to my mind.
Not that I know of. I mean, it's possible that some people I've blocked on eBay may have been resellers, but I didn't know. But I just blocked them for just, you know, not paying for something, or, you know, sending extreme lowball offers or something like that. Like something, you know, just annoying, or some kind of really rude message with profanities in it or something like that. I have blocked resellers on my YouTube channel before who, you know, are trolling and stuff like that and inappropriate, but yeah, but that's it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a reseller, but I blocked quite a few people just from being rude and harassing me.
Right.
Yeah. On eBay it's tough to tell if they're resellers because I don't really research too much into them. If they're rude and like, you know, send profanity and just stuff like that, boom, you're done. I'm not gonna deal with you on eBay. But yeah, I've definitely blocked multiple people on all other social platforms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with what everybody said. Yeah. Like some of them that have lowballed me have said you don't have enough room for profit. Well, I'm a reseller too, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm not gonna lose my profit because you want to resell what I have. If I'm not selling it for you to resell. So I'm okay with that, but don't be rude about it. You know, I'm okay. We can chit chat. We can go back and forth, but do not be rude. Do not be nasty. Do not put me down, or like the people that try and put down your items to get a lower price. That like irks me more than absolutely anything. So like, as long as people are nice, I'm sure there are quite a few resellers blocked in every area of social media and eBay for me. Coffee and Curios, Miss Eliza sent a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Here is your dolphin. Super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Aunt B wants to know, when you put your store on sale, how long do you have the sale? 1 week or 2 weeks? Or if it's other?
I am going to stun a lot of people here, and I'm not advising people to do this in any way, shape, or form. But I have literally never run a sale. Never. The reason why, this is my own reasoning for it, is that before I list something, I've researched it. I know what the proper price is for it. So I put it there, and I have an offer already on there. Like if people want to make an offer for the vast majority of my items, which I consider that if I take that offer, that's like a sale, and I send offers out, I promote things So I do lots of things that are like sales. I don't technically run a sale. Now, I'm not telling you not to do that. If a lot of people do that and it works wonders for them, they make a lot of sales. So don't necessarily follow what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's just my own stubborn thing. And so that's why I can't answer your question.
I usually do a sale for like 2 days, and then I'll start it over again and just keep rotating them every 2 days.
I don't run that many sales. I think the last sale I ran was probably around Christmas time. So I might do one a month. This month I haven't done any. It's already the 25th. So but I only do it on like a Friday through Sunday, or like a Thursday night through Sunday afternoonish, nightish. So I don't run it for very often. It's usually 2 to 3 days. And I usually do, I'd say probably once a month.
And my business model is the opposite of Dom's, and mine is psychologically, I think people like seeing a sale. So I price up on purpose because I know I'm running a sale. But I do not recommend you run them for more than 4 days ever. I would never do a 1 week or 2 week sale, because on eBay, it's got the little countdown and it tells them when that sale's ending. So if your sale's ending in 2 weeks or a month, there is no urgency to that buyer to buy it now, because it's still going to be on sale next week. So I think that's why, like Regina said, she does 2 days. I run mine Monday through Thursday, and Friday through Sunday is when mine are ran. So 4 days and 3 days. And I think that kind of gives them that urgency, like this is counting down. And I think eBay sends them reminders like sales ending in 12 hours. Do you want to purchase this? So I think that short sales is the way to go. I'm trying sales on Etsy, and like I've had like $500 in sales on Etsy this week, which is absolutely amazing. And it was all high dollar stuff. So I think that my sale is actually working on Etsy. I just don't remember. That is another one of my past one-on-one coaching students, Chris Marker, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. She said, hey, everybody, great show. Good to be part of the reseller family. Chris, thank you so much for being here. She sent me a picture. She has like so much snow, and it's insane. She's in Georgia, and I'm just like, no, thank you. Like, no. I need to go further south. I said that on my last video. Like, I need to go further south for winter, because I do not like, it's raining outside and in the 30s right now. You see me in a sweatshirt. I got my little heater back there kicking, and it's a little chilly in the shed. I'm not going to lie. So, Chris, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Here is your dog. Super chat. I want a real... Why do I hear? Where's the cat? I didn't think I had a cat in here with me, and I hear a cat meowing.
I was like, I don't have
That's my cat.
Oh.
Is that your cat?
It's your
Like,
dolphin.
why do I hear a cat? I didn't want one of them in with me.
Your dolphin.
I just want to
doing
say
cat
hello
noises.
to Zeno. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. I told Zeno I have to meet him. Me and George meet frequently, the Antique Nomad, and I've never met Zeno. So I need to meet Zeno soon. Very, very soon. I am looking. I see a lot of
This is a microphone, by the way. Some people in the chat were curious what this is. This is my microphone.
Dom has a fancy smancy mic.
I do.
Look,
Suspended.
Victoria is adding to the super chat train. Victoria has a meetup coming up that she's doing in Jacksonville, Florida, the first week of March, and I am going to go. I'm only going to go one day, though. I think she's doing the whole weekend. I'm just going to make a day trip up there, come hang out and say hello to everybody. So I look forward to that, because it's only 2 hours away, so it's totally a day trip for me. So I'm happy to go to that. So Miss Victoria, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Here is your dolphin. Super chat.
You got one more.
One more. Neat finds from Naomi. If we'll answer the question, then we'll do the dolphin. If and when you sell for local pickup, the buyer has paid but doesn't plan on picking up for 2 weeks, will it affect your performance matrix?
Good question. I really don't do local pickup, so it's hard for me to answer. I mean, I don't know if you I'm gonna have to defer to you because I really don't do it.
Yeah, I don't do local pickups either. Not through eBay.
I actually did, and let me hide that real quick. I actually did, and it was about 2 weeks. It was this guy bought a huge display, and he said, "I'll be in Myrtle Beach golfing, and I'll be there in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I would like to pick it up because I don't want to ship it." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." So I just switched it around, and it didn't hurt my store at all. So it's one of those things that it kind of it's like paid but pending, but it wasn't like you had to ship it or anything. It was just
Right,
waiting for him to scan because they send them a
right,
code, like a
right.
scan thing on your phone, or they send them an email where you type in the code. And it didn't really mess up my store whatsoever. And that penned it because I was getting worried. I was like, man, are you coming down here? You said 2 weeks. It's been 3 weeks.
Right.
And it was expensive too. The item was kind of expensive. And he showed up and scanned the thing, and my sales never really went down or up in that 3 weeks. So I would say it didn't mess it up at all.
Yeah, the only way it could affect the matrix, and my Yadro is affecting mine right now because I had it to ship FedEx, and then I booked a U-ship. I'm having it hand delivered, so like that showing as a late shipment. But luckily, I ship out so many. For me, that one item going out late, because I typically never send anything out late, it's probably not going to hurt me. So if the buyer pays and it says shipped versus telling you, hey, can you switch it to local pickup, then it would hurt your matrix, because it would say ship by tomorrow. And then if they don't come pick it up for 2 weeks. So if you marked it local pickup, no, there's no like time limit where it will hit you. But if they buy it and tell you after the fact, then yes, it could affect your matrix on eBay. And the only thing you could do, like if you don't sell enough, like I can take that hit of one item. If you can't take that hit, I would be like, hey, you didn't tell me till after, so it says I need to ship it. I would almost ask them or tell them I'm going to go ahead and mark it as shipped, like manually, so that you wouldn't take a ding. That's how I would handle it. Like this Yadro, I'm letting it sit because it's not getting picked up till February 1st. The driver left California yesterday. So it's just going to be a late shipment on me, but my percentage wise isn't where I'm in danger. I see the $20 super chat from Richard, and there's two of them. Okay. We need like lots of dolphins. So I'm going to do 2 and then we'll put Richard's up. So let's do 2 real quick. Super chat. Thank you very much, Miss. I wish it would show like the stickers that people do, and if they do like, emojis. I wish it would show it on StreamYard. All right, I need another one because we answered a question from one. All right, let's do a double one here. Dolphin. I do that all the time. I'm calling Dalton Dolphin again. Dalton is taking a nap right now. We are late night people. He is taking a nap. Brad might bring him out towards the end of the show, but right now Dalton is sleeping. I will tell him you sent him a dolphin. Here is your dolphin, Richard. Thank you so much. Super chat. I appreciate your help, Richard, a lot. Thank you so much. And then Bruce Hall wants to know if I additionally insure high dollar items in addition to mailing insurance, and what carrier. I think let's all answer this, because I think we might have different ways of doing things that might help people.
I do additionally insure high dollar items. And by the way, for people who don't know, Pirate Ship offers cheaper insurance than you're going to traditionally get through USPS. Plus, the insurance actually works. I actually have an example video of that on my channel with a high dollar comic that was damaged by USPS, and they covered the entire thing. Now, the thing a lot of people don't realize when you're insuring items, make sure you are taking photographs of your items before you ship them out, because they will ask you for them. And if the buyer doesn't supply the pictures of the items for you, then you're stuck because you don't have the items. So take pictures of them and keep them on your phone. Also take a picture of the label, so you have that. You have the tracking number. You have everything all set. So you could use it for your claim. But So I tend to, for the higher dollar items, I use the insurance that comes through Pirate Ship, which is one company that they use. But sometimes, I will use through USPS, and when it's USPS, I tend to use their insurance as opposed to the other one that they offer on the USPS website, because I've just had experience with it in the past. I like dealing directly with them, and they have come through the one time that I had to use it, but I know other times that they give you the runaround. The time I had to use it was when they actually lost the mail piece and couldn't find it in a search. So there was nothing, there was no way they could wiggle out of that one, because they
Yeah,
lost
right.
it, they couldn't find it.
Those are easy. If they
Right,
lose it,
right.
that's like the easiest claim ever.
Right.
I don't have a whole lot of high-end items like that, but hopefully I will, so I can use some insurance.
I do. Usually, priority gives you like $100, and then anything over like 150, 200. I've sold something as high as 700, and I definitely insured all that stuff too. I've never had to use it. Knock on wood. I'll probably have to use it tomorrow now.
That's right.
Yes.
Oh, look.
Yeah. I add it to all of my high dollar items, and I actually, through U-Ship with the furniture, I hadn't purchased their, like, they have freight insurance, but with the Yadro going from Florida to California, I paid $50. I'm like, I'm paying it. Like, if this guy gets in a wreck and destroys my Yadro, I want to be covered. So I did pay the $50 on that. I think it was like a $250 deductible if something does happen, but that's fine. I would still get like $2,000 back, versus being out all of it. And then like with USPS, I will purchase USPS insurance. And that's mainly like if stuff gets lost. Again, let me knock on wood. We just had a $750 vase. It took over a month to get over. I think it went to Australia, and they left me positive feedback. It was a $750 vase. And Brad packed it and I wasn't here. And he's like, I'm proud. He was like, he was telling me like all the different stuff he did, and it made it successfully across the world. And the buyer was very happy. So yeah, I definitely, if it's over $100 that priority's covering, I would recommend. And that is out of your pocket, not your buyer's, but I think it's worth it. Julie Taborn sent a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much. Here is your dolphin. Super chat. Thank you. Susie Hopper, I am new. I've sold 60 things in the last 3 months, $50 profit average, vintage and antiques. I also got into Starbucks and Disney. Should I lose them? The profits are so thin. Is it worth it? Should
I lose what? The items that have a
the Disney? I'm assuming she means the Disney and Starbucks.
That's personal. That's a personal decision. I mean, you have to decide whether or not your time that you have to invest into that is worth it. I'm not saying to get rid of low price items. Like if you bought a big lot of items that you could just easily scale, maybe you just take one picture of it or two pictures of it, let's say, and every time it sells, you could sell similar or have a multi-quantity listing for it. And they're just $9.99 items, but they only cost a couple bucks to ship. That could be worth it because that volume over time could really accumulate and make you a lot of money. So it's not necessarily like it's not like a $50 profit item, but over time that still can make you a lot. If, however, it's a $9.99 item that you spent $5 for, it's going to cost you $3 to ship. It's very hard to even justify that because the time in and of itself that you're going to have to put into photographing it and listing it, how much are you going to make after that? 50 cents, $1? That's probably not worth it. So everyone has to personally come up with a number where they say, for this amount of time I'm going to put into it, if I make X amount of money, I'm happy. And everyone's going to be different with that number, and you just got to figure out what that is for you.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a personal decision. For me, I will keep items forever. But like you said, if it's low profit and it's not worth your time doing, you just have to do what's best for you.
Yeah, Dom said it pretty good there, and so did Regina. I would say I can just give you like a personal thing. I sell hats. None of them are like high quality. I don't sell like 20. I mean, some of them are higher, but I still pick them up for $1 at our Goodwill, and I usually sell them for 10 to 12 plus shipping. So but you can run through them quickly. Like Dom said, you can actually scale hats. If I bought 30 hats today, I can get them done very quickly. They're easy to ship, easy to list, easy to do all that. So me, that's worth it. Somebody else would be like, that's not worth it. You're only making $8 after fees. But if you run through a whole bunch of them in a day, that's going to pay my light bill. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes. Yeah, and I would say when you say Disney and Starbucks,
I like Starbucks.
and you're saying the margins are slim, I just made $200 each on 2 Disney pieces this week. I would say that in every category, including Starbucks, there are $500 and $600 and $700 Starbucks mugs. Okay. You need to know what in those categories to pick up. Like my 2 Disney pieces, I paid $55 and $60. They both sold for $300 each. Really, they were 5 and 6 inches. They were super easy to list and ship, and I made over a $200 profit. So I would say maybe be a little, if the profits are slim, I'd say you're paying too much or you're picking up the wrong Disney and Starbucks. So I would pass up the stuff that the profits are slim, unless, like everybody said, it's easy stuff, you know, like Disney bedding and Disney sheets and stuff like that sells, and that's like easy list, easy ship. But if it's harder, then I would pass it up. But in every single category and every brand, I bet you money there is something that sells for a lot of money because of supply and demand. Every category. You just need to figure out what those items are and then look for those. Deborah Anderson, $3 super chat. A video with testimonials on one-on-one coaching. So actually, I will tell you, my one-on-one coaching, people have already had dibs and been able to pick their rooms for the Nurse Slipper retreat. That is one of the benefits I gave to them. And 2 of them are coming, and I have asked them to speak at the retreat. So I probably, if they will allow me, I will record them speaking about our one-on-one coaching. One of them has done multiple months with me. So obviously she liked it enough to come back for a second month. And she is the one that's speaking at the retreat. So if she gives permission, I will record that and put out a testimonial. If they're in the chat and watching this, maybe they will talk to you about it. I've had several of them, but thank you so much for the $3 super chat. And I will work on that. I need to get something a little more together, like about that than I have, but here is your dolphin. Super chat. Oh, Susie Hopper. Thank you so much.
Bit.
Huh?
So you have a good bit more.
Okay. They really did start a super chat train. Is that what happened? Okay, let's alternate. Let's do another dolphin, and then we'll do a question, and then we'll do dolphin, so we're not just eating through the night. Susie, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Here is your dolphin. Super chat. Thank you, ma'am. All right, let's do a question, then we'll do another dolphin. What % of your sales is attributed to live sales?
You mean like coming online and selling something live, just selling something here on YouTube, you mean?
Yeah, that's what I would take from it.
Percent? 1%, because I barely do it. I have an event that I do every once in a while with Susan, who's here in the chat, Vintage Vagabond Vens, which, by the way, could we get, I got to see where she's at right now, because she needs to get.
If she's not at 1,000, yeah, for sure.
We're going to get her right now to it. Hold on. Vintage Vagabond.
Let's do it.
Let's
we
get her
have
to
made
1,000.
some milestones on the
No,
channel.
we got to do it right now. But we got to put everything aside a second. She's at 982. We got to get her to 1,000 subscribers right now on this show. I'm calling it out. I'll drop the link.
How do I show it?
Yeah.
You guys, Vintage Vagabond Vens.
Please
go subscribe to her. Awesome. She's at 982. We only need 18 people. We have almost 500 in the chat.
Yes.
That is not very many of you. So by the time we answer this question, let's try and have Susan, Vintage Vagabond. Are you putting the link in, Dom?
Yeah, right now. Just put it up.
All right. We'll let Miss Regina answer, and then by the
very
time
low.
we're done.
Yeah. My answer is very low because that's really the only time I do it, except my cha-chingathons. at the very end, I'll auction comics off. Maybe I'll do like a little live deal.
She's at 1,000.
It's very low. She just got it?
We did it in 2 seconds.
Whoa, awesome.
She's now at 1,020.
Congratulations,
Thank
Sue.
you guys. Yay, Sue. And Sue is scheduled to come on our show later, guys. Sue is scheduled to come on with us soon, too. So,
Good.
That's
yay.
awesome.
Awesome.
Woohoo.
Yes. I'm so boring, y'all. I don't do live selling things, but I have a lot of friends that do auctions and they do very well, especially like if you want to get rid of some inventory, do a live. There's a lot of people that really supports those. So
Yeah.
I'm with Regina. I do 0%.
And I do one a month with Yvonne, Thrifty Rich. And I will tell you, I typically do like, I think last time I did about 300. Last Friday was an exception to the rule. If you watched it, I about lost my mind. I did over $1,000 in sales and was like, my head was spinning. But even still at that 1,000, I've done 20,000 on eBay. So we're still looking at 5%, even on a really good month. So for me, it's 5% or less. It's really low. I know a lot of people do like primarily that, and they do really good business. And it's really nice to show it and not have to do photographs. But the back end work of invoicing everybody and packing it, and you don't have eBay like printing out your labels. There's a lot more work to online sales, a lot more that you don't see. I like, and actually Brad, yesterday I was packing up all the live sales stuff and I was really flustered because I did a lot of hankies and I didn't describe them well. And I'm like, which hanky was this? And he's like, this is kind of funny. You're never like, I'm very composed typically. It takes a lot to like get me like flustered and riled up. But I was pretty flustered yesterday doing the live sale packing. So yeah. All right, Julian, click on one. Stephen Nicholas, $5 super chat. First time tuning in. I'm a new reseller. What's a good area to start in?
Welcome. I think the most common answer to the question that you're going to get, which is also the best answer to the question, is what you know best and what's around your house that you don't need anymore. That's the best place, but I want to leave it open for other people to piggyback off of that. So I'll leave it there.
I would definitely say selling items around your house and things that you know about. You don't want to go ahead and start into like vintage items and things that you have to research and know about because you can get in trouble on eBay if it's not authentic. But for me, I started selling clothing because that was easier for me with shipping. It's first class and that was just easier for me.
Yeah, 100% stuff around your house. There's stuff around people's house they don't use. It's definitely worth 20, 30, 40 bucks. I tried to do a video. Like I took something that was around my house and then I was going to do it for 30 days. I lost count. I sold so much stuff and had so much inventory. Like I did. I had just deleted all the videos because I was like, I can't keep up with it. So that one thing did turn into, spoiler alert, video is not coming out, but it turned into a lot. Yeah, because it was something I wasn't using worth 30 bucks. And I was able to take that 30 and just, it really does stuff around the house, no overhead, get it out of there. You're not using it in any way. You know about it because you used it. It's in your house. So you can describe it, take pictures of it. Good to go.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And like what you like Julian does his fishing and golf clubs because he likes it and he knows it. I do a lot of pottery because I like it and love it. So I would say definitely stuff Dom does comics, Regina's doing clothes. So you can see there's 4 of us here. We're doing, mainly like 4 different like main things. I'm all over the place. But I would say another thing is after you go through your house, look in your area to see what you can find because like some areas are abundant in some things and some have none. Like if I wanted to sell name brand clothes and shoes, I would be broke if I was thrifting around my house because they just aren't here. Where like down in South Florida, people do very, very well with clothing and shoes and things like that. So after you go through your house, look at your thrift stores and kind of see that what you know, but actually what is there. And here is your dolphin. Thank you so much.
Super chat.
Does anybody else do jewelry before I answer this? Oh, Dom, you do it.
Yeah.
What do you use to determine if that something's silver and gold? If you use a magnet, is silver and gold supposed to attach to the magnet or not?
Yeah, so we use a magnet. They are silver and gold is non-magnetic, so that's what you're supposed to look for. That I actually have a magnet. A lot of people ask me when they see me in my estate sale videos and garage sale videos, when I travel around with my little blue bag, some people ask me, what do I have in there? One of the things in there is a magnet. So just for that purpose. It doesn't mean, by the way, that it definitely is gold, but it just is something to give you a clue to look into it more.
Yeah, and then you can get a test kit off of Amazon. I think there's only really one major brand to test for the different levels of gold and silver. So that's what, and a little scratching stone. There's videos on YouTube that'll teach you kind of how to do that. So that is what I use. And I typically don't pick stuff up unless it's marked, which might be my bad. I need to buy a magnet. I'm gonna write that on my list. I don't have a magnet. I need a magnet.
Yeah, that's
All
the
right.
other thing. Definitely look for the markings. And if you carry around like a little loop with you, that helps.
Yes.
LOUPE, not LOOP. And or you could just use your phone and turn it into a magnifying glass function and zoom in on things in there and look at things that are real tiny font.
Yes. Julian, do we have another super chat?
I think I'm all caught up.
We got him. Okay, good. Lorraine wants to know, Dom, do you have a typical doctor's handwriting? I don't know if you saw that in the chat.
Yeah,
Oh, I see you answered her.
I've said it's not the best, but it's not quite that bad as the stereotype. But you know, I think it's getting a little worse as I get older.
Nifty 50, I never had a worth point discount. So I have a discount for Bubble Boy, and that's it. Or not a discount for Bubble Boy. I only have a discount for List Perfectly. So worth point, I just have a link that I sent you. I don't have an actual discount coupon code. Caroline is saying she just bought the CPA course yesterday. I will have a video out tomorrow on like what I do as far as my taxes and what deductions I use. And I also will have a link tomorrow for Mark 2 for Not Your Dad's CPA accounting course. So that is my video for tomorrow. There's a spoiler alert for you guys. Tomorrow will be taxes and write-offs, and that is just what is in the air, and I think on a lot of people's mind right now. Have any of us sold on Vented?
Nada.
I think we're all saying no.
That is.
I've never even heard of it. Doreen said, you mentioned not being liable. What do you mean by that? Liability for what, or what would put your, that's like a loaded question. But like depending on what you're selling, like if that Yadro fell on somebody's head, I don't know. There's slim chance, but having an LLC kind of removes your personal away from the business side. People that sell in higher risk, like if you were selling like ammo and guns and like food and supplements and dietary things, you would have a higher liability. Dom, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, like you said, injury, it could be an electronic item, for example, and maybe the cord had some fraying on it, and maybe you didn't disclose it as well in the listing as you should have, and a fire started and something bad happened. You know, like they could try to go after you and sue you. It might not be successful, but they could at least try. Remember, lawsuits don't have to always have merit to it to be filed and to cause you a lot of stress and money to defend yourself. So that's why I got an LLC as well, because you definitely, especially if you know you have a family and you have a home and everything, you don't want those things to be assets that are vulnerable in a suit. So
Regina, Julian, anything?
No, I mean, people like Dom said, I was law enforcement for 10 years, so the suits came up on me a whole bunch. And then you're right, they don't have to have any merit whatsoever, and you will still get sued, and you still have to protect yourself. You have to get lawyers, you have to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I used to be a part of like a lawyer group where I had one like kind of on retainer, and even that is not a bad idea, to be honest with you, because I do a whole bunch of other things.
I just signed up for like a legal plan like that. It was $300 for the year, and basically I can call the lawyer with any legal questions all the time. And a friend of mine recommended that. And
I had an LLC set up for me by an attorney, so that's something to consider. And then that attorney serves as my business attorney if I need anything.
Yeah.
So there comes in very handy.
Yes. Julia Lee said, I just got a charge from eBay for $33 for an item, a lamp that was 12 pounds. FedEx said it was $45. How do I address this? I will tell you, I had this come up with USPS charging me like a ridiculous amount. There is a phone number somewhere, if you message eBay for business, that what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to contact FedEx yourself and try to argue the point. So like you might have to send pictures of the box. I know one of my friends was sending tubes and they were getting stuck in the machine. So they were counting, like charging him more because the tubes kept getting stuck in their conveyor belts. So it might have been like if it was oversized. Anyways, there's a way to get a hold of FedEx. Dom, do you know any other way to deal with that?
No, but not beyond what you said. I've heard these horror stories about FedEx for the longest time, and I've been dreading this happening to me because I use it every once in a while for bigger items. Fortunately, it has not happened yet. Again, knock on wood, right? But, geez, that's just horrible. I've heard of some really high charges because of that.
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't had anything like that.
Yeah, me neither, luckily.
I'm not sure. Susie, did you clarify? She's asking if there's a program for small sellers, saying most reseller content is about scaling up. I want to stay at 250 to 300 and get better merch. And I mean, that's all about kind of your business plan. Like you can learn from those of us that are scaling up, but not scale up your items, just scale up and learn. And that's one of my main things lately is I'm doing higher dollar items. Like my average sale price over the weekend was actually over $200 on 25 items because of that Yadro sale. So I would say like if you're watching us, even if we're talking about scaling up, take out what you need for your business. Dom, anything like for smaller if she's not wanting to grow her quantity count?
Could you put the question? Because I'm not sure I totally understand the question because it made reference to a program. A program is about scaling up. I want to stay at it. So it just wants to stay at that consistent number. Oh, and get better merch. How to improve the merch?
Yeah.
That gets back to what we were talking about earlier. With that question that came up about moving from $10 items to $20 items. It's just all about learning your category and also not only learning the category, but then finding the places where you could get that stuff at a reasonable rate. You've got to try to find, your own either method in a place that is known. So like you could go to HiBid and come up with a method that helps you find it and get the good deal that other people might be missing. Or you got to also cultivate your own private sources nearby you in your community. So I think people who do best at reselling are the ones who are able to do all of these different things. They're able to go to HiBid and get something, go to eBay, pick something out, go to an estate sale, go to a garage sale, cultivate a private source somewhere. If you mix all those things together, eventually things are going to start coming together.
I definitely say it's about learning because I'm at that point now where I'm trying to scale up, and I would stay at thrift stores all the time. But once I started going to yard sales and I saw all the things that they had, that kind of did better for my store. But learning different categories, and if I could learn HiBid here in Alabama, I don't know.
I got a good video for that, Regina.
Yeah, so just stay learning.
Yeah, 100% what Regina said. Just keep educating yourself on higher priced items. And that's a lot of, 200, 250, whatever it was, 300. It's still a lot of items. If you have like $60, $50 items at that much, and you continue on buying and, you know, selling, you're doing pretty good. You don't have to have a huge store to make a lot of money. I mean, there's people that have not that much and just sell really expensive stuff.
Yep.
Kat, this one's for you.
This is embarrassing. I won the bid on your frog pottery bowl. Oh, yeah. I
don't know
don't.
if you're gonna see it.
I emailed you, Anne. I emailed you, and I don't have your mailing address, so I couldn't pack it to invoice you. So check your email, because I emailed you back and said I need your shipping address in order to be able to invoice you. So just email me back or email me again, thenurseflipper@yahoo.com, and I just need your shipping address. That's all I need. No embarrassment, though. No embarrassment. I figured you just hadn't seen my email, so it's okay. I want to answer this real quick for Elizabeth. A number 7 box, technically by USPS regulation, is 12 by 12 by 8. So that's the size you should be putting down, as 12 by 12 by 8. Do not put that. Well, 13 by 13 by 9 still not going to make you go over, but technically on their website it says it's 12 by 12 by 8. I think there might be some variation with some of their production. I've noticed some of them are smaller or larger, and yeah, for sure. But that's the technical size of it. Dom, I think, don't you have a video on this? Susie Hopper wants to know, how can I learn to negotiate? I'm very shy and hesitant to bargain.
Susie, if you go to my channel, you'll see playlists. I literally, just so you know my background, someone was asking in the chat. So I do have a background in psychology. So I have a whole section on using psychological techniques in negotiations. So if you go to my channel, there's a whole negotiation section where I teach people different strategies to use. Also using them in offers situations on eBay. So, you know, you just have to, I know you're shy, but sometimes people could be naturally shy. But then also when it comes to business, you just got to kind of get into a certain mindset that negotiations are expected in this business. So when you counter offer somebody, they're usually not going to get mad at it. They're going to understand it. And in a rare instance where someone does, well, that's probably not someone you want to do too much business with anyway. So it's really all about developing some self-confidence and practicing it over time. So, you know, maybe you just go out to a garage sale, a state sale, and you just practice a few techniques that you see, that you come across either, you know, on my site or somewhere else, and just try it out. And just, or have like a little partner that you go with, and you kind of, you know, decide ahead of time that maybe that person's going to take a little bit more of the lead, who has some experience with it, and you kind of chime in here and there. And, you know, that person's like, all right, you want the, you know, the item's $50, and you say, well, I could do 30. And then, you know, maybe at some point, like, you kind of go back and forth, and different people are throwing in different numbers, and, you know, you add a number in here too somewhere. So, you know, it's just about getting your feet wet and just about practicing, really.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. It's easy to negotiate through eBay because you don't have to look the person right in the eye. But
Yeah.
I'm like you, Susie. I'm kind of shy too, and it can be intimidating at those yard sales. And I'm still learning myself. I just don't like to be turned down. So, but just have to keep doing it.
I just said one other thing that could help Susie out. My best strategy, and I use this on eBay when I'm doing negotiations, and I also do it in person. The best thing is to come up with a price that you're comfortable, where you can meet that person in the middle. So that person's high, and you know, you maybe came in low initially. Come up with a place where you can meet in the middle. Because when you say that to someone and say, could we meet in the middle at here? They want 50. You initially said 30. They say no, then say, could we meet in the middle at 40? If that works out, because then what happens psychologically, what happens there is that both sides gave an even amount. They'll feel that way. So you basically don't want the other person to feel like they're getting taken advantage of, and you want to feel like you're getting a good deal. So by using that phrase, meet in the middle, that's the best single thing I could tell you that could help you.
I'm a big fan of the bringing like a partner, like, you know, if you can have a little yard sale partner, because I'm not shy, and Kayla doesn't like to negotiate. So I was like, you gotta learn how to negotiate. You know, you need to start throwing out some numbers here. So she kind of bounces them off of me now. Like, yeah, go, you know, go ask that person for like $30, or, you know, and definitely what Dom says, like, kind of meet them in the middle, know what you want to spend. If they reject you, don't feel that bad about it. I mean, that's going to happen. Rejections are going to happen. So, but definitely, I like having like a partner there. Even when I started, it was a lot easier to have somebody else there that I knew that, I don't know, it was like more comforting, I guess, to have somebody with you.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would say know what you want to pay as far as like what you're willing to pay, and don't spend more than that. So if they say, you know, if I'm using Dom's example, the 30 and 50. So if you tell them 30, they say no, and you say, well, could you do 40? And they say no, then no. Like if you needed to get that item at $40 to make the profit you wanted, know that it's okay to walk away and say, sorry, I can't pay that much. You don't have to feel obligated to buy it. I don't negotiate a ton. I am unlike a lot of people in reselling that if it's something I feel I can make profit and it's priced pretty low, I just buy it. A lot of people have said stuff to me like, why don't I? But if I feel like I'm getting a really good deal, I just don't feel like there's a need.
Yeah.
And I probably am leaving some money on the table, but, and I've gotten some great deal. Like for me, like if it's $25 and I offer 20, I think a lot of people expect that, like Dom saying, like that's what happens, especially at the flea market and garage sales. The negotiations are expected. So it's almost like my sale, like these people are pricing it a little bit higher than what they really want because they know that people are going to give them offers. So they might price it at 12, knowing somebody's going to come be like, oh, can you take 8? No, I'll do 10. And then they get what they really want anyways.
Right. You got to think of it like you set up your eBay store if you have offers on, right? Like you probably, if you're doing it right, you probably added a little bit of cushion on there, like Kat said with her sales, because you know either you put it at a sale or you have it open to offers. So you want to leave yourself some wiggle room where you could take some of that off if needed. That being said, someone may come across and just give you the price that you want, but that doesn't always happen. So you got to add that cushion in.
Yeah, for sure. I saw that. Now I got to go buy Julian some beverages. Nice beverage for Julian to help celebrate his channel success. So awesome. Yes, Julian passed me, and I told him it would happen, and it happened. Julian has passed me in subscribers in a month. He went like, woo, to the moon. And I am very, very happy for him. I think it's awesome. Keep riding the wave for sure. So this dolphin is for Yvonne and Julian, because Julian is kicking butt this month. He started the year off right. Here you go. Super chat. Thank you, Miss Yvonne. And again, Julian, congrats. I don't know if you watched my video yesterday. I thanked you. I told everybody yesterday too in my video. Picking the 603. How do I get a high-end bag Chanel authenticated? I know I can't answer this. Can anybody answer this for her?
Well, I believe if you are selling on Poshmark that you can send it through there, and they have an authentication program through there, or eBay might have one as well for handbags. I'm not 100% though, but I'm pretty sure one of those sites has some kind of authentication. Probably someone in the chat knows who could say, but I thought there was a handbag authentication through one of those two.
Yeah.
I think it might be
Poshmark. Yeah, I used to sell on Poshmark. I know they do that.
The Real, yeah. I think the Real does too.
Okay.
There's a few high-end fashion sites.
Yeah, I think I would Google. I'm sure there are authentication sites, because I know, like, I see Shop Goodwill providing like the coach certificate.
Yeah, that's a good point though that Rob brought up in there. That with Chanel, there's certain brands you really do want to stay away from, because Chanel has been in the news a lot.
They'll go after you.
Yeah, that's probably one I'd stay away from actually.
I'm just going to go ahead and answer
Okay.
this. Katrina Murray, is it a scam that eBay is asking for your social security number for taxes, or they will put your payouts on hold? Absolutely not. It is the law. They need to send you a 1099, and this year it is $600. I think that's why, like, the whole tax thing is going to come a little more forward coming up here shortly. But it is not a scam, and they will put your they will put your funds on hold. Let's see.
Yeah, Posh does it if it's over 500.
Does anybody know? Is it just on like the computer that you can add the video? Do any of us know? It's on the computer. Okay.
On your desktop, if you look on the top right of your listing page, there should be like initially it should be like a blue bar that you click on, and it brings you to the new listing page.
And then Cheryl asked what forum. So that is eBay we're talking about. But I've just started selling on Etsy, and Etsy has a video function as well. So I know eBay and Etsy both offer it. I'm not sure if there are any more. Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate you, my friend.
Hi, Tiffany.
Let's see. I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Oh, yeah. Kathy says her son uses a Lazy Susan. I want really Lazy Susan that I plug in and it turns for me. That's what I want. And I've seen a couple of my friends have those awesome, like, you just plug it in and it goes.
Tim's got a good one.
Tim's been using it. And then, like I said, my friend Erica shows me her mug she makes on one of those little rotating things. And I'm like, I need one of those things. I need one. Laura wants to know if we heard about Courtney and her Mercari account. Yes, I did. We can go around. We can go around.
I did. I was talking to Courtney about it yesterday. I'm not sure if she's still in the chat, and we were talking about how to approach it and stuff. She did a great job, and she wound up within, I think, 24 hours getting it reinstated. So she has 2 videos, one of it being taken down and one of it going back up. So
Yes.
good job, Courtney.
I didn't hear about it.
No, I saw that it was taken down, but I didn't see her get it back up. So I'll have to watch the video.
Yep.
She did. And I talked to Courtney before that first video came out. Her and I are friends. We chat on Facebook all the time. And I will tell you that my account has been reinstated as well. And Courtney is happy to have her account back, and I don't give a crap. I am not going back to Mercari. So we have 2 very different viewpoints on it. I think she was getting more sales than I was, though. Like, that was only 5% of my income. And I really do have more of the vintage and higher dollar stuff now. So me moving to Etsy, honestly, is probably a better thing for me. It was probably a good thing it happened to me. So my account was reinstated, but I do not plan on using it. Just so everybody knows, I don't want to hide the fact that I did get my account back actually 2 days ago, right before Courtney had hers taken away. I got mine back. And Courtney pointed out to me, because I sent her the screenshot, and what happened is Mercari messaged me, but I wasn't using the app, and the email notification came 3 days after the in-app message, so I didn't find out. And I'm like, maybe your video made that, but she pointed out that the date on the Mercari message was January 21st. So I actually got my account back before Courtney put her first video out. I think this is a really good question from Katrina Watson. If you could tweak eBay to improve it, what would it be?
I would like to be able to go into my Seller Hub area, and I'd like to be able to sort items by views, by how many views I have on the items. And I don't think I can do that. Sorting by views.
Now I have to look.
For your, if you go to your active listings, you could.
Oh wait,
you
no,
can?
you can't click it. Nope, you're right. I'm wrong.
I hate that. So you could sort by watchers, you could sort by time left. Why can't you sort by views? So anyway, that's my tweak. I mean, before this, it was the whole issue of hoping that they would put a system in place where you could where buyers, when they make an offer, would have to pay, and they are putting that system in place now. Some people don't like it. There is a way to turn it off now, by the way. Don, the auction professor, just did a video about it. He doesn't like it. So everyone's going to have a different opinion on that, depending on your business model. There's reasons why it could be bad, and there's reasons why it could be good. So check out his video for more info on it and where to find it and toggle it on and off. Well, it's automatically, by the way, as by default, it's on.
I'm not sure what I tweak with eBay. I just get tired of all of the updates we have to do and the glitches, but I can't think of anything right now.
This one's a little petty, but this is what I would change. When my coupon for my shipping is ready, I want that button to be huge where I don't have to like search for it. Like, I don't have to do anything. I just want to like go to my seller's tab and it says your coupon has arrived, and I hit that button and then I'm good to go. For some reason, it's like takes me 20 minutes every time I got to find my coupon to use for the shipping thing. It's like so buried in there. So that's mine.
So my first one would be the payment thing, the automatic payment. So I'm hoping that's in place, and I will not turn off that option. And then since that's already in place, I would say that I wish that eBay had a function to stop us from listing items that get us in trouble, like those Vero items that are like definite no-nos, like where it's a hard stop. There are some things that can't ship internationally that they don't stop. They will stop like lighters and knives and very obvious things. If you try to turn on international shipping, they're like, no, you can't do that. I wish they had that where it was kind of eliminating all of these Veros where people are getting suspended for things that they weren't aware of, that it would like pop up, or maybe it would pop up the Vero terms for that brand or company to save us from getting all the Veros. That's what I would like to see.
That's a good one.
Susie says, how do you approach stuff that's been in your shop for 6 to 8 months? Do you feel like it's the price?
It can be, but there's so many things it could be. It could be that you didn't realize that one of your photos is totally botched, or that you misspelled something significant in your description or in one of your keywords. So you really have to, if it's been sitting around that long, you really have to do like a fresh look at it. And also it could help you if you have just let it sit and it's become stagnant. There is such a thing as things just kind of fall into the wayside in terms of eBay's algorithm and search. So what you want to do is do something to tweak the listing. You could try ending it and relisting it. That helps a lot of people. Or you could just do something to change something within it. Like even if you just change the price, that makes a change within eBay's system, and that will make it show up more prominently in search for people. So sometimes it's just things like that. It just became, a stagnant item. But often there's something off, but not always the price, but sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Look at your photos. You may want to end it and sell similar. For me, I sell clothing. Sometimes if my inventory is stale, I will lock things up and try to get them out that way. And I always just try to run sales and see if you can move it that way.
Two things I'll hit on. One could be a lot of times I'm cruising through listings and I'll mess up my shipping. Like I'll put, it's supposed to be 2 pounds and I put 22 pounds. And sometimes, not a lot, I don't do it a lot, but sometimes it'll mess you up. And another thing is, like, say, depends on the item. Like this item I actually just sold. It's just a wrench, I've had this wrench for almost a year, and that is an expected slow mover. Like tools, single tools are slow movers, and I know that when I list them. So if you like, I assume that they will not sell. Some sell immediately. Most sell 10 months, even more. They just sit around and they, sell. They're just slow movers. That's the best way to put it. So there's really nothing wrong with that listing or anything. It just, you have to wait for the person that needs that wrench.
Yeah, and check sell-through rate, see how many have sold compared to how many are listed. So you'll kind of have an idea. I source a lot of long tail items. That's in my business plan. I'm okay with them sitting here for a year, sometimes longer. As Julian said earlier, with a lot of the high dollar items, they can take a while. Like I have like a $3,000 glass sculpture. It's going to take that exact high-end buyer to find that glass sculpture that they want from that artist. And it might take years. And I knew that when I bought it. You know, it's a one-off, it's really expensive, and it just takes time. So I would definitely look at, like, I do my eBay store reviews the first Monday of every month for my members. And the biggest thing I see when I'm reviewing is pictures and title, and shipping comes in third, like Julian says. Pictures, title. It's like YouTube, you know, you need to make a picture that somebody wants to click on, and you better have a title they can search. They need to be able to find your item. So, like, use all 80 characters, use the keywords, and make nice pictures that make people want to click on your stuff. Caroline, I fixed it while everybody else was talking. My YouTube About page does not any longer say that I sell on Mercari. Thank you for pointing that out, though, because I did take the Mercari link off my banner on my channel, but I did miss that I had it in my About Me. Tutus. Yeah, this live is every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's one time a week. Thank you for coming in. We are happy you were here. I see other people were answering. Do returns hurt your matrix?
If you get enough of them, yes.
Yes. Item not described, and yes.
I had 2 recently, and then I did really poorly that next day. I'm not saying that they heard it. I'm just saying that that's what happened. But yeah, I did not subscribe. I think that
I think they do not hurt your matrix. I believe the only thing that does hurt your matrix is if you do not handle the return. So if you accept the return and refund them, I believe they took returns out of the seller numbers. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure over a year ago, returns does not count. What counts is that you did not handle the situation. So the number of returns, I do not think counts against you. Like, if you don't provide that refund when they ship it back, that will ding you. That will be a ding. But the actual return itself, I do not think counts against you. I do not. Yes, I'm going to highlight one of these. There were quite a few comments. To all of my moderators tonight, I have seen all of the spam and trolls coming in. So thank you to all of my moderators who have been helping keep them out of here. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Ching ching. My item sold for $11. Okay. Would you advise a new reseller to list on multiple platforms right away, or start on one platform first?
I would start on one platform, master that platform, and then move on to another platform.
Yeah, I started on Poshmark because Poshmark was just easier for me for shipping. And then I moved to eBay and then Mercari.
I agree. I would start with one, because if even sales, it's just too much if you're starting out. I would definitely do one, master it, and then move on to other ones.
I would say one, but I would say I've heard of some people only being allowed to list 10 items on eBay when they start, and that would be my exception to that. If you can only list 10 items on eBay and you want to get really serious about reselling, I would look at either like Facebook Marketplace, or maybe Poshmark's pretty easy. The fees are high, but Poshmark's really easy to sell on. So if you can only list 10 on eBay, I would list the 10, and then I would think about listing on other platforms if you were wanting to get more sales. Most people get 250, but I have had a few tell me they're only allowed to list 10 items. So like, if that were me starting, 10 isn't enough for me. I can, that's like a day. So I would want to find somewhere else I could list items to do it. Susie wants to know, do we all sell international, and is it worth it?
Yes, definitely is worth it. You are leaving money on the table if you do not offer some type of international shipping option. I understand, especially for people who are new into reselling, that there might be an initial hesitancy into doing that. But there are several ways to do it. Think about it this way: when you are just offering things to a U.S. market, you are just offering it to relatively small compared to the whole world. It's a relatively small marketplace. If you offer international, you're opening it up all over the place to such a broader clientele. You just have more people looking at it, and more chances of making a sale. And then one other thing I would say too is, because you might be one of the only people that is listing your particular item as an international option, people are more likely who are international to pay you the price you're asking, and they won't even send an offer. They'll just buy it because they don't want to take the chance someone else will get it. So that's another way to get top dollar for your items.
Yes, and I use the global shipping program.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I use global shipping. I know I had a guy tell me there was a lot of money to send something to Canada, and when I sent it the other way, and I was like, no, I just use it because it's super easy. It is a little bit more money, a lot of money, I guess, more for the
Canada,
for Canada. Yeah. And I was like, I'll go down on the price of because I was already really good on that whole deal. So I was like, I'll go down pretty far down on the price of the object rather than dealing with all that. And global shipping really, they'll stop things that can't go over. I sold something that it made it through, like Kat said, it made it through the initial look through, and then they stopped it there and they handled everything. They were like, this is a restricted item going to this country. I guess they destroyed it. I don't know what they did with it, but I got my money and then the buyer got their money.
Yeah.
So it was pretty neat.
Yeah, and I do under $50. I do standard international, and above $50, I do global shipping program. Valerie wants to know if we feel like you should sell lower profit items to build your store up as you're starting out.
As long as it has a good sell-through rate, and it's worth your time, like I said, because you want to, when you're starting out, you want to feel like it's worth it, so like I said earlier, I think the best approach is to have some combination of lower profit items versus medium and high profit items, and just kind of mix them together, so you got to get all different types of clientele through your store. Someone might buy a low profit item that might lead them into looking at your store and them either buying one of those medium or higher profit items, or even telling someone else about it, who then comes in, looks at it, and buys from you. So that's the principle they use in retail with what they call loss leaders. You're hoping in eBay, we're hoping not to lose anything, but they'll sometimes offer things at a loss in retail to try to get you in, so you spend more money on other products, and then at the end they wind up making money. So that's another way of looking at it. But I wouldn't advise taking losses in e-commerce. I'm just saying there's a place for lower profit items.
Yes, it just really depends on you. I do a lot of when I started off doing a lot of lower profit items. Sometimes the lower profit items are just easier to find, and you can still make money. As we call it the bread and butter items. You can still make money from those items. And for me, just selling some of the lower profit items made me more comfortable with selling high price items, and it just builds your experience up.
Yeah, God, that's a good answer, Regina. I was going to say that. When I started out, with
Julian. This is the problem with going third, man. But the opposite problem is if you go first, you gotta come up with the answer real fast,
real quick. See, I sit there and think.
I think number 2 is the best spot to be in right there. That's the best spot. Number 2.
Regina hit it. I was exactly going to say that. When I first started, I started out with little items, and they were easy to find, and it built my experience up. And in the beginning, I got hit with a lot of scammers. One sticks in my brain. It wasn't really, I guess it was. I would have handled that completely different now that I have more experience. But since it was such low price items, I didn't take a big hit. It was altogether maybe $20 that I lost, but now I'd handle it a lot different. But no, it definitely does give you experience to get that where $100 item selling it isn't so scary. Because in the beginning, if I sold a $100 item, I was watching that tracking thing like nobody's business.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. And if you're just trying to build feedback up, if you're thinking more about feedback, I would say buy low dollar items. Go buy pen and notepads and whatever you might be buying anyways, go buy it on eBay to build up your store's feedback, because typically those scammers go away after you get like 15 or 20 feedback. And I would say starting with the lower, like, because you have to be okay if something happens and you lose that money, you know, like heaven forbid if something happens to one of my high dollar, I'm going to have to suck it up and lose it. But I'm in a position where if I lose it, I lose it, where that would devastate and be somebody's whole complete business if you're just starting out. So I would say, you know, lower it and build up to where you're comfortable. And it's good for feedback as long as the sell through. I think Dom was the one that said that, like, as long as they're lower dollar fast selling, then it will build you up. I'm going to highlight Carol's comment here saying yay for Susan. I just want to say again, congrats to Vintage Vagabond Vin, Susan. And I will say, I'm glad we could get her to 1K, but Dave, Midwest Picker, has been spamming my Instagram trying to get Susan to 1K. And I didn't mind it. I love Susan, so I'm glad. But Dave worked really hard to help Susan to get to 1K. I saw a lot of posts from Dave, Midwest Picker, helping Susan. So
no, see, here's what happened. I don't know if Dave's in here or if Dave will watch it later. So
he was in here. He was.
Yeah, he is.
Well, he'll rewatch this part later. So I had started it out when Sue, I think she was like a low 900s. So, or maybe 900, and I posted something in my Facebook group to try to get her to 1,000. It did help her get some more subs. Then Dave came along, and Dave put the video out. So Dave definitely did help. But I'm just gonna tease Dave because I'm gonna tell Dave that Dave, I was the one who pulled Sue through at the end, and I'm gonna take all the credit for it. I'm just kidding. I'm not really.
It's all him.
Right. But that's what I'm gonna say to him. Dave and I mess around. So.
Yeah. No, I Dave, and I think Dom have both been around my channel since like the beginning, like under 1,000 subscribers. Both of them have been around. Dave and I went tit for tat for like months as far as subscribers. We were like back and forth. So, and Dave just started doing his videos. He had to move out of his house. So Dave's making videos again, Midwest Picker, if you guys are wondering who we're talking about. Richard is asking, have you had an item listed that was unique and was the only one listed, and then someone listed it much lower than yours and you purchase it to corner the market?
That's a funny question. I haven't done that, but I kind of contemplated a little bit because I won't say what they are, but there are these toys that I had purchased recently. They're these vintage figurines. So I got a good deal on them using that strategy I talked about earlier in the show, sourcing on eBay. And then I saw that there were they're not like that common, but they're also not like the rarest thing in the world. So, you know, might be like 2 other listings for it. So I saw 2 other people had them. I was like, you know what? I should just buy them out. Like every time I see these come up, I should just buy them out so that I eventually, like, I'm the only one who has these items and then I can sell them for whatever I want to and be like, I have all of them. You must pay my price. No, but I didn't do that, but it's funny. I've thought about things like that in the past, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it.
And Richard, I don't find a whole lot of unique items, so no.
Yeah, mine's gonna be I've probably never contemplated because I'd be buying a lot of like Callaways out there. I'd have to own all of them. So no, never done it. Not saying it's a bad idea because that's a good idea.
Yeah, no, I have not had like that with my unique items, but I have been researching something I'm wanting to buy. And like they're all at 100 and then there's one at 20 and I bought it. I'm like, oh no, like A, theirs is going to sell before mine. B, there's room for profit there because they were selling at 100. So I have bought them like that. And that was just in my research. And I'm like, what are these people doing? And then it was already packaged and boxed and I just listed quantity of 2 when it came in. And yeah, it sold pretty fast. So I flipped the one I bought plus the one that I bought off of another seller. Speaking of Dave, his question just happened to come up next. How much time or effort do you put into eBay hunting, looking for items that are underpriced because the seller doesn't know what they have?
Well, that's a strategy I was talking about earlier. Not a lot. I tend to do it like, well, I mean, I technically could do it any time of the day, but just for my schedule, I tend to do it towards the end of well, for me, which is the end of the evening. So it might be like, or towards later, like it could be like midnight or beyond sometimes, which means there's less stuff available, by the way, to pick through for things that are ending, because more things tend to end earlier. So it's like a double-edged sword. There's less items available to pick from really late at night. But that could, be less competition who might be searching for stuff at the same time, but not much. Like whenever I just feel like, all right, I just want to mess around, have a little bit of downtime, and just, here and there. It's nothing I like commit to spending like a set amount of time doing. It's just occasionally I'll do it.
Yeah, I used to look source online through eBay all the time, but I don't get a whole lot of time to do that now.
Yeah, really zero on eBay, but I will actually start, because the other day I was looking at Kennedy toolboxes, and there was one for sale here, so I was comping out, and somebody sold one super cheap on eBay. It was a little guy, but stacked full of it was one of their tackle boxes, but stacked full of like old lures and stuff, and they sold it for like $15. I think only $5 shipping, something crazy on an auction. I was like, I would love to have bought that, because the box alone was worth like $30-$40. So the lure's going to be worth money. So probably more so. I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah, and I'm like a 0% really, but I'm the same way. I'll comp like something I have, and then I'll see lots that ended on auction. I'm like, why didn't I see that?
Right.
Like, here's 5 of these things worth $50 each, and they just sold them for $20 for 5. So I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's a really good sourcing method. I don't need to be sourcing at all right now. I have way too much stuff, and B, I don't have the time.
It helps. It really helps. Like if you could develop a good eye for something, like when you're quickly scrolling, and then, like I said, just quickly like look at those keywords, look at the prices, and then dig within the description of the listing too. And I've just been amazed sometimes how people put just a few words. They don't have any keywords in there related to what the item should be. And it's like, that's why no one's finding your items that you put up for auction, right, and why it's not going to sell except to me in about 5 seconds, because I'm going to get it for $5.99 plus $4 shipping. Like, so, but that's what you got to look for.
Misspellings too. Misspellings, guys, is another way. Look up those common misspellings for sure. Melena has a question for Regina. Have you made it to the Goodwill in Birmingham yet?
I went one time on my lunch break, and I just went in the store part, and they have the bins in the back, but I didn't have enough time and had to get back to work. So hopefully I can get back out there.
Miss Jane, what is your bidding strategy for online auctions? Do you wait until the auction is about to close, or put your best bid out as soon as you know you want an item?
I'm merciless with my comics. I mean, I am just I have a whole I have it like set to, I know the exact last possible second moment to snipe it, and I know exactly what price I want to put in there, that literally the person has no way to react to it. So that's what I do. Because I don't want to do, like right now I have, like in my eBay store, I have a lot of comic books. They're damaged comics for crafting, and people just keep bidding the price up. And I'm just like, I don't really get that, because you guys are just making the price just go up and up and up all throughout the week. I just wait till the end and then just swipe in. I also do that on online auctions. If I ever buy anything here, like, I tend to wait till the end and jump in there.
I haven't done any auctions, but that's something I do want to get into.
Yvonne knows. She just says she knows always went to the end.
The ones that I bid on are mostly like soft closings, so they'll do another 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 2 minutes, and I'll 2 minute somebody to death. Like if I want that item, you better be in it for the long haul. I got all night.
Well, that's the thing, because the strategy that I just mentioned is tougher if they're going to then extend it out 2 minutes afterwards. It really works best where it's a hard close. So that's where I like to use that.
Yeah, and so if it's a hard close, like my local auction site is a hard close,
That's good.
I put my bid in at 5 seconds.
See, I knew it. I knew you would. Yes, we
5
do the
seconds.
same way. Right.
But on high,
Right.
and you know how I learned though, because somebody friggin' got me. I'm like, I'm winning. There's 2 seconds left. Boom. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you sucker.
Yep.
So
Yep.
now I'm like, I'm gonna be that sucker.
That's right.
They can
You
be mad
really
at
have-
me.
Yeah, you have to, and you do have to leave like a little bit of time because sometimes there could be like a processing delay, so you have to account for that.
I
You
lost
can't-
a couple because I wait. Yeah, because I
Right.
waited.
Yeah.
And then like my internet will be slow, and I'm like,
Right.
But on high bid, what I tend to do is I'll place one bid at the minimum, even if I'm automatically outbid, to mark, because I watch auction. I'll pay more attention if I bid on it. So I'll place one bid just to bump it one notch. And then I watch it at the end. And what I do is wait until there's that, like right before the 2 minutes, because I'm hoping they're not paying attention. And I'm going to take it, and then it'll go out and it'll close. And I've had that happen to me too. I forget I have a high bid auction and somebody comes and takes it at the last minute. With my big Disney haul, which I think I spent over $3,000 this last time. I was at work, so I couldn't watch the end, and they end a minute apart. I ended up figuring out my max, and about an hour before the end, I went through and put my max on the end. So it really depends on if I can watch it, if I know I'll be able to watch it, or if I can. If it's ending while I'm at work, with nursing, I never know if I'm going to be doing something, then I've got to put my highest in there. Do you recommend using WorthPoint? Does anybody but me use WorthPoint?
I don't use it.
It's worth it.
So I will tell you, and I know my mods are dropping my link to WorthPoint in the chat. I make thousands more a month using WorthPoint, and I used WorthPoint for over a year before I had the link that I have. So I have been using it for a long time. It's not something new to me. And I got a message yesterday of somebody that said I was going to price this at $120, but they were trying the WorthPoint trial, and WorthPoint showed it sold for $310. So right there, that's $190 more on one item that they would have made by having WorthPoint. So if you're finding those one-off rare items or items that haven't been on the market for a few years, then yes. If you're selling like more common, easy to find, and you're finding comps for everything on eBay, then you don't need it. It really depends on what you're selling. I tend to get a lot of, they're not necessarily all one-offs, but they're items that are rare, so they haven't been on eBay in over a year, so there's no place to look for it except for WorthPoint. And then you can see the trends of, is it going up over time? Is it going down over time? So depending on what you source, I think it's a really good tool to have, but it depends on what you are using. Well, just going to take a couple more questions real quick, and then we will go, guys. Linda McKee wants to know, Regina, what type of clothes do you sell that makes worth selling on eBay?
Well, I do a lot because I am part-time and I work. When I get off from my job and I go to the thrift stores, most of the good items are taken. You have to be at the thrift stores early in the morning. So I do a lot of bread and butter, but I'm always looking for a lot of anthropology brands and designer brands. So, but it's hard to
And do
find.
you do mainly women's or men's, Regina? Or do you do
women.
both?
I was
See,
trying to do men.
I'm the opposite. I only look at men's clothes in the thrift store. I do not look at women's.
Yeah, I was trying to do men's, but it just didn't speak to me.
See, that's how I feel about women's. Because I'm jeans and t-shirt, or like I'm wearing a hoodie now, and I don't know like what brands are in or what style. Like I look and I'm like, I have no clue. So like the guys, I know like the button ups, and I know like the brand. I just think it's easier. So it really depends. You're seeing here, and this is why the panels are good, because you've got two of us saying exactly the opposite thing. So you really have to find what works for you.
Yeah.
Miss Carol, so you cannot, I don't think there's a function to specifically look for items with a picture on WorthPoint, but I will tell you, with almost everything that I've used WorthPoint to comp, when I use Google Lens, a WorthPoint comp is the first thing that comes up in the search. So if you use Google Lens and they had a picture, it will pull up WorthPoint. And then if you click it, of course, you're going to need a WorthPoint subscription to see the actual value it sold for. Let me find... Singing Mermaid, I do not have a link for the legal service. A friend of mine told me the one I got, I think, is only valid in Florida. I think they're only valid in Florida. So, Dom, do you have anything? I see you about.
I was just going to say hi to Lori because that's Lori. So I just want to say hi to her. Hi, Lori.
So I would search in your state. And it's basically like a prepaid legal plan. I think I could get it at work too. But it was like, it's $30 a month. And it includes like personal and business. So if I need like an initial letter sent out, or if I have a question about any legal issues, I can call them and the lawyer will like speak to me immediately. It's just a good thing to kind of have, and just like, it's like an insurance, you know, you have them there, they're there, you can ask them questions, and yeah. Valerie, we are not trying to scare you. That is not the purpose of this. But I think when you're starting a business, you need to realize there are a lot of different aspects to it. And I think you need to kind of educate yourself a little bit. And I've neglected that in different areas, and you're never going to, I wouldn't stop, but I would definitely, like, as you're growing, you need to learn more and kind of figure out. Anything to say? Anybody else about? We're not trying to scare you. We're not trying to scare you.
No, I mean, like Kat said, you have to be aware of what the issues are. I think the YouTube community and the reselling community on all the social media platforms are good at keeping people up to date with information. So I would definitely stay in touch with that. You know, keep in touch with what's going on in the news and everything. You never. You know, no one who's starting out is going to be the master of everything and know everything about business. So we're all still learning, and we've been doing it for a long time. So, you know, you just try to learn the major things, the most important things first, get those locked up, and then, you know, learn more of the subtleties as you go along.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, last question from Miss Latasha Bell. Do you pick and post the same day? She's just starting full time. I'm going to assume she means, are we sourcing and listing the items the same day?
Rarely. Once in a while I'll do that, but it's rare. When you've been, you know, doing it for as long as we've been doing it, and you have as much inventory as we have, you know, it often takes us some time to process it and to figure out exactly when we want to get it listed. We have different strategies, all of us, in terms of how we list. So we might want to save something we just got today and put it over here with a batch of similar items and then list that batch one day. Or there might be some things like that toy that I showed you that needs to be cleaned. So that's going to sit back there until I just have the time to get to it and clean it. I paid $2 for it. So, you know, no big deal. So, you know, it just depends. Now, when I get my high grade comics in that I spent a lot of money, I invested a lot of money into that. Those I try to get up same day or at least within a couple of days, because I have a lot of money into that, and I want to try to recoup that. So it depends.
I never list items I find the same day. I wished I could, but I have a process that I use, especially with the clothing. I like to wash my clothing, so sometimes that may take a while, and
yeah,
just try to list items a day. So I have a good size death pile. So
I'm like 50-50, kind of what Dom says. I have like strategies on certain things, like shoes. I'm not, for some reason, I want to get like I have a whole thing where I do with these shoes, and I clean them all at the same time. I list them all at the same time because I'm in shoe mode. And I usually wait till I got like 20, 30 pairs, and I'll get them all knocked out that same day. Like golf clubs, if I picked up golf clubs right now, they wouldn't get listed for a month because honestly, they're not really selling that well right now. But I picked up like 20 hats today. I think it was 20. They'll all get listed probably tomorrow morning or something. So 50-50.
Yeah. And if I'm like rewarding myself, because I will occasionally do that and go to the thrift store, even though I have my death pile, then I will tell myself you can only get what you can list today. And that stuff does, but typically no, because I buy big auction lots on high bid. So it's hundreds of items and it takes a while to list. One more question for Regina, and then I will let everybody say bye. Heather Supercalipoppins wants to know, she said she has tons in clothes she could list, but measuring takes forever. What do you measure on your listings?
Well, after I got so many questions from buyers asking me the measurements, I started putting all the measurements in for, like, if I'm selling a blouse, I always go from pit to pit and I do the length of it. If I'm doing pants, I do the waist and the inseam and the rise. I just try to put all of that information into the description so I won't get any questions.
Yeah, and I bought the reseller ruler, which is like the cross ruler, so I could start like just laying that on stuff because I didn't want to measure. So when my niece lists stuff, I use that. Okay, I'm gonna make Dom big, let him answer this question, and then he can say goodbye and we'll roll on out. So Larry says, for Dom, I have a high grade cover only for Roy Rogers #1. How would you sell it? Found in my death pile. Go Death Pile Destruction Group. Yeah, my group over on Facebook is Death Pile Destruction Group. Dom has a reselling resource. So if you're not in those two Facebook groups, definitely check them out. I'm going to make Dom big to answer this for Larry and let him tell you. Dom, you have a 4-person panel coming up tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, I have a call it a random reseller show hangout. I put a call out on Instagram and I basically ask anyone who has a YouTube channel, small, big, medium, if they want to come on my show, let me know ASAP. And so I just take the first 4 or 5 people who respond to me. I put them together on a panel and we have fun. We tried it last month. It worked out really well. So I have another coming tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to come over, check it out. It'll be a lot of fun. Hey, Larry, what's going on? Thanks for the question. So what I would do in this situation is, first of all, I would do a comp check on eBay, see what the highest sold is recently. I don't know if you're talking about, for example, four color number 38, which is the first, technically first Roy Rogers, or if you're literally talking Roy Rogers #1. But either way, do a search, see what it sold for, and see what the condition is. This is just, I'm answering this question also more in general for people who are new into comics. You really have to learn comic book grading. It's very important. It's very easy to overlook flaws and think that they don't mean anything, whereas they would really mean something very big to a collector or to someone who is grading it if you're thinking of sending it out and getting it graded. So that's the other thing. So you got to get familiar with that. There's a great guide. It's the Overstreet Guide to Price. It's the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics. I have a link to it in my YouTube videos somewhere in the description section. One of the most helpful books you'll ever have if you're doing anything with comic books. So check that out. Get familiar with what you think the grade is. And then what you want to do is, if you can't find a graded version of it on eBay, then what you want to do is go to comicspriceguide.com and sign up for a free account. Doesn't cost you anything. Once you're signed up with a username and password, then what you could do is you could type in that specific issue, and it's going to tell you what the price is for it raw at each grade level. So raw meaning it wasn't sent in, graded by CGC or some other company, and put inside an encapsulated slab. But then it's going to tell you how much it would go for if it was actually slabbed. So compare those two prices. Then you're going to have to go to the grading company. Most people will go to CGC. That's what I recommend. And see how much it's going to cost you to get that comic book graded, because it depends on the book, the age of it, how much you estimate it's worth. There's like ways to figure it out on the site. So you got to figure out what the time investment is if you want it graded, and what the cost investment is if you want to get it graded. Look at that and then make a decision based on those numbers. In most instances, unless you have something that is really worth thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars, usually I don't go and send it off to be graded, because normally once you factor in the time, and you factor in the shipping, and you factor in all the costs, and also you have to assume that what you think it's going to be graded at, it's probably going to come back less than that. So you have to assume that too. And those differences in points could really mean a lot in terms of grading. So often it's not worth the extra $100 you might get. So take that into consideration. That's what I would do. For those of you who have not seen me on any of these shows before, if you're new, I think the link has been put in the chat, but come over, subscribe. I've got over 1,000 free videos on almost every topic that you could imagine. So I'd love to see you over there and take a look at some of the content. Thanks, everyone.
Perfect. Thank you, Dom. Here's Miss Regina.
Oh. I was in the chat.
You got your show tomorrow too, right? You got your show tomorrow too.
We have Hump Day Hangout on Wednesdays with fundamentals of side hustling. We just we talk about reselling, but we just talk about everyday things, and that's it.
And check out her channel. Her link is there. Pat D's, the traveling picker, sent a $1.99 super chat. Let me give you a dolphin, and then we will say goodbye to you guys. Here's your dolphin, Pat. Thank you very much. Super chat. All right, guys. So we are here every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have gotten to where we have so many people we cannot get through the questions. So if you have questions, I recommend getting here early so you can get your question in, because this is now 3 weeks. So I think that's probably going to be the new norm. We are not going to be able to get through all the questions. So we're growing and evolving, and we will answer as many as we can, but we definitely cannot answer all of them anymore, or we would be here forever. So thank you guys for coming out. Definitely check out Julian's channel and both of the guests. Mark's messaging me like, hey, Kat, it's 10, get off. I know it's 10, Mark. I know it's 10. I'm trying to see who I have next week so I can tell people who's going to be with us next week. Actually, he was in the chat earlier. Sunny, Vegas. What is his Vegas? Las Vegas Thrifts, I think, is Sunny's. I only put Sunny because I know who Sunny is. And my YouTube BFF, Dale Flippin' Fiasco, who is my absolute best friend ever, will be with us next week. So we will have Sunny and Dale with us next Tuesday at 8 p.m. We look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you so much. We will see you next Tuesday. Bye, guys.